All right, Dr. John here. Today we're going to be going over the standing lunge stretch. This is a great stretch to get through your hip flexors and quads here in the front of your legs, and we're going to get right into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up in kind of a lunge stance. Actually, I'm going to go this way so you can see. So whatever leg is behind you is going to be the leg that you are looking to stretch. So in this position, you might be able to see my hips are rotating, right? We don't want that. That's going to give us a little bit too much slack on those hip flexors and quads that we're trying to stretch through. So when you're set up in this position, you can come up onto your toe here on the back, and you're going to make sure that this pelvis isn't rotating. So I'm going to bring this left hip forward so that now my pelvis is even, okay? Now, in order to get the most out of this stretch, you want to be able to lean back just a little bit. I'm not coming all the way back here. I'm not doing limbo. But what I am going to do is put a little bit more weight on my back foot. This will make it a little bit easier to position your pelvis rather than if you're leaning forward. So I'm leaning back a little bit, and I'm going to then tuck my pelvis underneath me. So I'm going to squeeze my glute to not only help that movement, but to lock it into place. You'll feel a little bit more of a stretch that way as well. But you're thinking of turning this pelvis back, almost like you're bringing your pubic bone forward here. So once I'm in this position, I'm going to then start to sink that back knee straight towards the ground just a little bit. And I feel that nice stretch all the way through the front of my hip flexors and quads. Similar to other stretches, you can hold for 20 to 30 seconds on each side, or if you're doing this to warm up, you can hold for 5 seconds and then come back up, take some stress off that muscle, and do 10 reps that way. But if you're not feeling as intense of a stretch, go through a checklist of a couple of things. Do I have a little bit more weight on my back leg? Am I tucking my pelvis? Is my knee too bent? Do I have enough room in between my legs? Am I up on my toes? And most importantly, am I rotating my hips here? Make sure your hips are even, which is my biggest issue. If you feel like you need a little bit more stability, that's totally fine. I have the trusty chair here, which is not that stable, so I wouldn't recommend this. But you can use a counter, a chair, whatever it might be, just to give you a little bit of support, and that allows you to kind of focus just purely on the stretch itself rather than trying to work on your balance at the same time. But that is how you do the standing lunge stretch.